So it's about 11 o'clock. Um, I've been up since I guess it was 5, meaning I actually got a decent amount of sleep last night. Um, I spent the morning clearing off the politics site up until the I've got all the 2014 stuff off now, and I need to go through and clear off all the 2013 stuff. Um, that probably won't take too long. Um, Really, I just wanted to kind of check in and get that reference point down. I'm looking probably at the rest of the day for that, but I mean that's still relatively a short amount of time. Um, I stated a few vlogs ago, or maybe it was the last one or the one before, that I was hoping to get this process done with by the end of the weekend, and I think that's a reasonable estimate right now. If I can get all of the 2013 stuff now, because I'm done with the 2014 stuff, so I can get all the 2013 stuff done by the end of the day, then everything from 2012 is in archives, so that's a very different um, uh, um, scenario. Because it's already in archives, what I could and probably will do is actually just copy the whole archive over. I've done that. I did that before with my music stuff. That's something else I'm going to have to do is merge those files because, like I say before, I move on to anything else. I want to have this giant file that I can just pull information out of, right? So I had a music review Facebook page for a little while. I was actually mildly obsessed with it. I guess it was from about 2000. It was during this period where I was like getting affected and I didn't have anything else to do, and I ended up reading a lot of news and listening to a lot of music. It was actually a useful catch-up phase for me to kind of have an idea of what had been going on because I'd been kind of losing myself in kind of like early 2000s techno mostly, um, and kind of really was really just kind of out of it. Kind of I don't really think I found too much of that much interest, besides a little bit of hardcore. Um, the music landscape is pretty barren and has been for a long time, and it's not just because I'm old. It really actually is. Um, and there's actually factors around it, right? So like I'm not just like randomly stating this sucks. You know, I'm saying okay, well there was a movement in electronic music towards minimalism that started in the late 90s, and it took over the underground. And as a consequence of that, very little of interest has come up because everybody wants to be minimalist, and it's very boring. Um, and in fact, it's intended to be boring, but it's fashionable to be boring. So, it there's other reasons as well. I mean, if you're a record label, um, it takes as long to make one of these things as it does to play it. So that's a lot cheaper than dealing with calling someone up every couple of weeks. Are you done yet? Are you done yet? No, I'm not done yet. I'm still and the label guy doesn't care. He just wants to put a product out. And it's just it took I mean, techno was the last 20th century form that came up, so it took a little bit longer for it to get commodified, and it's as trash now as any of the other forms are. There was a little bit of a punk rock revival, um, which was I don't think there's really any logic underlying it. It just happened. So and these other things, but I mean, like there's not. You've got to if you want to actually find interesting music today, you pretty much you're restricted to jazz. The only thing that's interesting is jazz, and like we're talking about like the extreme obscure reaches of jazz. Everything else is stabilized, and the kids seem to be like maybe I'm looking too much into it. Maybe it just happens to be that the fashion trends 30 years ago were about abstraction, and the fashion trends today are about minimalism, right? And so because the fashion trends were about abstraction, that stimulated people into creating something interesting, and because today the fashion trends are about monotony, everything is boring as a consequence of it. There's also the whole retro thing appeared. And if we could destroy one thing, if we could destroy Ratchet, we'd really be on the path to freedom, I think. But anyways, I'm up to that point. I'm stopping to get something to eat. I'll get back at it. Don't expect much else for the rest of the day because that's really all I'm doing. And I can hopefully get to actually looking for some stuff. Um, Probably late on Sunday or early on Monday. How am I feeling with the non-smoking? I think I'm mostly over it. That's really, I mean, I'm not really having any noticeable side effects or anything anymore. I'm not, I haven't completely stopped thinking about it, but I'm not, you know, agitating. I think that one period a few days ago where I was just like, like that was probably the breaking point. I haven't had anything like that since, and I don't really think I'm probably going to, unless I get really, really stressed out, and I doubt that'll happen. Um, like I say, I think I'm like I'm not. I don't really have much to say about it. I mean, I think I've said everything I have to say about it at this point. And this point is just like, with every passing day, you feel a little bit better, and it's really just about there. Um, I haven't showered yet, though. That's the promise I broke. Um, because the temperature is going to go up tomorrow and the next day. So I'm going to wait till the temperature comes up a little bit because showering means opening the window. Um, and it's nice and warm down here. So I don't really want to. Last year I was, you know, I thought I'd do the landlord a favor last year and keep the heat as low as I could. And then, thinking that it would just kind of, but what ended up happening was I turned the heat down and the guy upstairs turned the heat off practically. So there was like no heat in here. On top of that, it became a little more clear that, I mean, number one, the guy upstairs is going to keep the heat off. Like I can't, like he's barely going to heat the place, and that's not going to, like, he just doesn't want to heat the place because he's a big guy, and it's just the truth. When you carry a lot of weight, you want to keep the heat down, you know. And he will turn the air conditioning on very early. I mean, like, it's consistent. He seems to like the temperature around like 19 or so, right? So that means that, like, I'm not getting heat. I'm not getting any heat from upstairs at all. What I'm getting from upstairs is just like an absence of heat, right? That said, once in a while, like when it gets really cold out and the heat does actually turn on upstairs, it actually makes it a lot warmer down here. It's this counterintuitive thing where it's warmer down here when it's colder outside because the heat actually turns on. On top of that, maybe you got a kind of an idea of the way that the unit is shaped, but there's huge amounts of cold air sitting outside of the apartment unit, right? So there's really, like, if it gets cold out, because there's no heat source out there, um, it's just gonna sit, right? And so I'm not just heating the apartment, I'm heating the entire basement, right? So that was kind of maybe not, like I say, I was just, trying to be a team player kind of thing, keep the heat down, and, minimize the cost and everything, but it doesn't make sense to do that with the broader sense of circumstances. What made more sense was to just leave the heat at a set point, to turn it on early in the year and just leave it there the whole year. That way, the heaters are able to determine what the heat is. It doesn't fluctuate. So that's what I've had. Like last year, I tried to set it low, and I ended up turning it up really high to compensate because all of the cold air ended up just getting stuck, right? And last year was very cold, of course, too, right? This year has not been anywhere near as cold. But what I did this year instead was I just turned it to 23 at the beginning of the year, and it's just been 23 flat out straight, right? You might see from my schedule and my living arrangements that this idea of turning the heat down or up, or like I'm home almost all the time, so there isn't a period where I go out to turn the heat down. And on top of that, my schedule is completely sporadic, right? So it makes sense to so let him deal with that, right? Let the guy upstairs deal with the ups and downs. He can, if he's hot, he can turn the heat down. If he's cold, he can turn it up, right? I'll just have a steady, stable, flat kind of base, and that's what I've held to really. It's I set it to 23 in October, or around then, anyways, and it's been that's been the temperature. It's been set at in here ever since, and it'll be set that way. I might turn it down a little when like when it starts getting warm. Here's the thing: is he's gonna turn the air conditioner on when it gets to like 18 outside, right? And then like I don't want to have the air on and fighting with the heat, right? I mean that's like that doesn't help anybody. It's like you're living in a tornado, right? So, what I'll do is I'll probably turn it down a little and I'll wait until the I can get the air in, because that's it's been a few years now since I've been here, and that's what ends up happening every year. Is that we get a nice day where it's like 40 degrees with humidity, and I just keep the windows open all day, and that clears out the basement, and lets me turn the heat off, right? Otherwise, I mean, the reality is if I don't do that, then the heat will be on in July, because like the air conditioner upstairs is really intense, and I. If I could pick my ideal temperature, it would be more like 27 all year round, right? I mean, like even I'm acclimatized to it now, but like even at the beginning of the fall, I felt cold at 23 because it was 25 degrees down here all summer, right? So, the point being that I want to wait a little bit, because I don't want to let all the heat out, and because it's going to be above zero with like tomorrow or the next day, I'm not doing anything. I can wait. So yeah, that's what did I get out of here? I got 12 minutes so far. All right. I'm really not. I'm just talking. And I think that's the end of the day. So I am making lunch and I'm having salami today. So I have gotten to the end of the salami from earlier in the month, and I'm going to throw it out. But I just want to point something else out. This is the wax paper. If you buy deli meat, you know what this is. You might not know that this is recyclable. Although you probably also don't want to leave it out all the time because it's not going to smell so good, and it's going to attract bugs. So I put it in. This is an old, quite old. That's me. I never use this and probably should get into the habit of using it more. That's my little focus there. See? So this is an old bag. And I have been doing little with it or nothing else at all with it besides putting the wax paper in here, and when it fills up, I throw it out there and then recycle it. So, yeah, there's a salami bag in the garbage. This is another Triscuit container that is going in the garbage. And how we doing? You can see we're still not even close here. And again, I'll point out that that was actually far from me taking it easy. In order to try to maximize, I've actually gone and used put far more in than I normally would. So it may fill up a little faster, but it won't overflow anytime soon. So there's still lots of time to go here.